Hello everybody, in this video we are going to discuss about non-uniform acceleration. In the previous one we have discussed about motion under gravity, and if you remember it was a special case of uniformly accelerated motion. So let's begin with today's topic, which is non-uniform acceleration or non-uniformly accelerated motion. Okay. So before proceeding with the topic, I'll recommend you to watch the playlist on Maths for Physics. Basically, you should have a basic knowledge about differentiation and integration, since we are going to use a lot of them, a lot of it today. Okay. So if you remember, what was uniform acceleration? Uniform acceleration was A equals constant. A is some constant value. It won't change its direction, neither its magnitude. It's a vector, right? So it won't change its direction, magnitude throughout the journey for uniform acceleration, right? But what do you think it will become for non-uniform? Not constant, right? A will be variable. A will be variable. That can be the another definition. So A is not constant, or rather A is variable. A varies either with respect to time, distance, or any of the physical quantities. Okay. So A, basically A varies. A varies with respect to time. You can say, suppose the acceleration in the first second is not same as that in the second. So A varies. Similarly, if the acceleration in the first meter itself is not same in the second meter, okay, so again acceleration varies, you can say, over the journey. Okay, other terms also, velocity and all. So basically, if you can say it in some, means that A is variable. So if you can prove this, so if you prove this, then it will imply that, so if you find that A is variable, the motion that you are discussing is non-uniformly accelerated. Non-uniformly accelerated. Okay. So this was the basic idea behind non-uniform acceleration. I told it within some minutes, I guess. So A is a variable. It varies either with respect to one of these quantities. Basically, A is variable. It may either change its direction or change its magnitude, or it may change both, right? Either it can change direction, either it can change magnitude, or it can change both. Okay, basically it's variable. That is the point. Okay, so you can note that idea down. So uh, today's class you won't have much of a theory, since uh, you already know the things that we are going to use. Like, I am just doing a quick revision of formulae which we are going to use. So formulae in use, so you already know them. No stress. Okay, just one new addition, I'll tell you that. So first one is v is equal to dx by dt. You remember this instantaneous speed, instantaneous term lecture, instantaneous speed, dx by dt, small change in displacement. Okay, I'll say ds if you are comfortable with that. Displacement upon the small change in time. Similarly, if you remember, A is equal to dv by dt, small change in velocity by small change in time. Okay, here there is an addition, but before that, let's go to the integration format of this, right? Write it in the integration format. So ds integration is equal to integration v dt. So basically cross multiplying it and taking the integration. Here also you can take a dv integration is equal to a dt. Here also integration. So you have to apply the limits here. I hope you know to do that. I'll teach you that in a question. Okay, so you'll have limits here and here and here. Okay, so we'll come to that. Okay, so if you don't know where this D comes from and where the snake signs comes from, you can check the playlist, as I have suggested that. And one more that I want you all to remember is again a special format for this. So you divide and multiply. So you take the same thing, a is equal to dv by dt, same thing I wrote, and then you multiply and divide by dx or ds. Okay, so mostly in questions they'll use x, so I'm using x. So here also you can use x. It's better that we use x today. Basically a variable, right? The displacement, it represents displacement. So now split this dx. One you get it get it below dv, and other one you keep it above. So one I got over here and one you'll keep it above dt, right? So how did I split? One I got under dv and other I got on top of dt. Okay, so what do you get from here? Okay, so a is equal to dv. Okay, I'll write it in a good way. So dx by dt is v, right? So v and into dv by dx. This was a formula for a, right? So you can note one more down, which is a is equal to v dv by dx. So this is useful in the format where this v is given in terms of x, right? V is dependent on the displacement, so that time you can use this. This is the simple derivation for this. You multiply dx and then split wisely and you'll reach there. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. Just this was the addition, right? So this is the only thing if you're following the lectures regularly. So this is the only addition. You already know this. Okay, you can note that down if you want. Okay, okay, so theory for today's lecture is done. We'll go into the problems, but before that, if you remember the previous lecture, we had said that time of ascent is equal to time of descent. What are this? Like for giving you a basic idea, those who have not seen the previous lecture. So if I throw this thing up, it says time of ascent is equal to time of descent. When is this true? When there is no air resistance, right? We said that when there is no air resistance, air drag, whatever you want to call it, friction due to air, then a time of ascent, whatever time it takes to go up, is equal to the time it takes to fall, right? When there is no air resistance, here there is, right? But if there is no air resistance, the time it takes to go up is the time it takes to come down. Okay, so okay, but what if we have air resistance? Sounds interesting, something which we didn't do in school, right? So what if we have air resistance? What will be the case then? Okay, so if I had to tell you the answer directly, it has the time of descent will be greater than time of ascent. Okay, you can note that down. I'll tell you the logic. Okay, but first I want you to feel it. Okay, suppose I take this paper. I'm taking this paper. Now feel it. Now this will be visible. Even here also it's the same thing. This is a paper weight. I'm throwing it up. Here there is air resistance in this room. Yes. So time of descent is actually greater, right? But you cannot note it over here. But when I take this paper, no, you can note it. Okay, so when I throw it up, so it went up fast, time of ascent was less, then it stopped and then it glided down. The time of descent was more. Want to see it again? Okay, so I'm taking this paper. I hope you can see that. I'll throw it up. So it went up very fast and it glided down, right? It came down slowly. So time of descent is greater than time of ascent, if you want to feel that. Even when you like have a balloon, you can feel it, right? Feel it in any way. So when you have a balloon, a feather also, if you throw a feather, right? Take a feather, throw it, so it will go up fast and then glide down through the balloon. You can feel it in any way, like see, if you have a balloon, a filled one, so you if you hit it from down, it will go up fast and it will come down slowly, right? If you hit it, it will go up fast and come down very slowly. So that is the case of air resistance, right? So it's more observable in things like balloon and this paper feather, but for this paper weight it's almost like we cannot see it, right? We almost see that the time of descent is equal to the time of ascent, but let's get a proof for this. Okay, so let's take a case. So we have the object here, we have thrown it up with a velocity u. Okay, we are throwing it up with a velocity u. Now you know that there will be a gravitational force on it, due to which there is an acceleration g, acceleration due to gravity. Should I write it big, a little big? Okay, so there is an acceleration down, acceleration due to gravity, or that object is going up, so you have a frictional force due to air, so let's call it F. Okay, so just remember one thing about this F, the air friction, the air drag, I'll call it air drag, is opposite to the direction of motion. What is the direction of motion? The direction of velocity. So it is basically opposite to the velocity. It is opposite to the direction of motion. So when I throw it up, during the upward journey, it's in the downward direction, right? Because this is going up, and air friction is opposite to the direction of motion. This is going up, so air friction is opposite to the direction of motion. So this is the first case. Now let's see what is happening in the coming down case, right? So we have that velocity. Okay, suppose it is now completing it. So it started with u. Okay, so it came back, and here it's u again, right? Whatever it began with, it will end. Okay, conservation of energy anyways, you don't have to worry about that. It is now moving in the downward direction with the velocity u. Now you can see that where is the gravitational force? Obviously down, right? Gravity is already in the, it's throughout the journey, it's uniformly accelerated. It's a special case of uniformly accelerated motion, right? Gravity throughout the journey is in the downward direction. Gravity throughout the journey, the acceleration due to gravity is in the downward direction. Okay, now what about the air friction? Now can you find it through this statement? The air drag is opposite to the direction of motion. So what is the direction of motion? It's coming down, right? It's coming down. So it's coming down, air drag will be in the upward direction. Oh, so air drag will be in the upward direction. Here it is in the downward direction because it was going up. Object going up, air drag downward direction. Object coming down, air drag upward direction. So just do one thing, find a net acceleration, net acceleration. So what do you find here? It's g plus f, right? This acceleration plus this acceleration, both are in the same direction. Okay, g plus f. This is case 1, this is going up, right? And this is case 2, it's coming down. Okay, so yeah, what is the net acceleration here? A net. You can note that c, g and f are in the opposite direction, so the net acceleration is g minus f. Of course g is greater, that's why it's coming down. Okay, so a net in this case is g minus f, hence here it's g plus f. Can you find something fishy here? So if you remember from your class 9th or 10th, f equals ma. So where in which case is the force more? Okay, is it in case 1 or is it in case 2? In which case is the force more? Sorry, so case 1 or case 2? Obviously case 1, right? It has more acceleration, g plus f, and here acceleration is g minus f, something less. Here it's both term adding up. So acceleration is more, force is more. So what will happen? So when you throw it up, it will, this force is in the opposite direction to that of motion, right? Opposite to that of motion, so it is stopping it, right? So even I can say it in a lame way, right? See, acceleration is change in velocity by time. I'll say this is a very lame way to say it. So if you see, this is constant. Change in velocity is from u and finally it becomes 0 in case 1, right? Going up. So it goes up till it reaches the highest point where v is 0. Final velocity is 0. So this is constant. This change will be some constant, right? And now you can see acceleration and time are inversely proportional. Acceleration and time are inversely proportional. Okay. So here also the change is v0 and then it comes to u. Okay. So yeah, here also the change is same. Now what do I wanted to say? Okay, acceleration and time are inversely proportional. So where there is more acceleration here, right, where there is more acceleration, the time will be less. Where there is more acceleration, time will be less. Time of ascent is less, right? It is a very lame way. If you see it this way, force equals mass into acceleration. Here, in case 1, the acceleration is more. So the force is like pulling it down, slow down, slow down. It's like, so it's stopping it way earlier than that one. Okay, it's stopping it way earlier. So time of ascent becomes less. You can also watch it this way. Okay. So this was the reason why time of ascent is greater. Okay, sorry, time of descent is greater than time of ascent, right? So even in this case, when I'm throwing this, time of descent is actually greater, but we cannot observe it for this. You can observe it for feathers and balloons and papers, as I said. Okay, you can note that down. This was the idea behind TD is greater than TA when there is air resistance. Okay. So now we are going for problems. Nothing new today, but the problems are good. So numericals, I'll see. First one, displacement is given by, so displacement of a particle is given by, displacement is given by x is equal to 20 plus, so this will check your basic understanding, t cube minus 12t. Okay, so state whether motion is uniformly accelerated or not. So very easy peasy question. You might have done it the moment I'm writing it. Accelerated motion, uniformly accelerated motion or not. So no options. Either it's a yes or a no. Okay, or don't know. Okay, so you can try that. It's a very easy question. Just let me check the time. 18 minutes. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so you have x, I'm doing it now. You have x, you want to go to acceleration, right? So differentiate twice, right? But I can see here, I can do it directly. So I can see t cube, right? But differentiation of t raised to n, if you remember, was with respect to t, right? So it is n t raised to n minus 1. So I'm thinking this. Okay, I'll do it and show you. Okay, but see, the highest power is 3 and I'm going to differentiate this twice, displacement, then go to velocity. From displacement I'll go to velocity and then I'll go to acceleration. So dx by dt gives me v, dv by dt will give me acceleration. So how many times did I differentiate? Once, twice. Okay, twice. Okay, so differentiating twice will reduce the power by n minus 1 for the first time, n minus 1 again for the second time, so 2. So that t term will remain, right? I am building that idea, so okay, I'll do it for you. So first, what did I do? I differentiated with respect to t. Now, those who don't know differentiation, I'm saying it again and again, go check out the lecture. Okay, so 20 is a constant, differentiation gone, so 3t, t cube has 3t, 3 minus 1, 2. Okay, and 12t will have, so kt with respect to t, it has differentiation 12, means kt will have k. Okay, constants come out, and dt dt with respect to dt. K remains. Okay, so now let's go for acceleration. This is v now. Now dv by dt, which is acceleration. Now again differentiate this, right? So 6t, that is what I was saying. So this t will remain. 6t minus this 12 is a constant, it will go, right? So yeah, you have this t term, right? So you can see that acceleration is dependent on time. For t equals 0, t equals 0, a is 0. If t equals 1, a is 6. If t equals 2, a is 6 2s are 12. So you can see that it's varying, right? It's varying with respect to time. So a is non-uniform. Okay, so you can conclude it from here also. Looking at the equation, you can see that it varies with respect to time. So it was a easy question just to check your knowledge. Okay, now we'll go to some good questions. This was basically a brush up. Now velocity of particle is proportional to, so velocity of particles, velocity is proportional to t to the power 3 by 4. This t is time. So velocity is proportional to time to some power 3 by 4. Okay, 3 by 4 power. Now how does acceleration and displacement depend on t? So velocity is proportional to this. So how does it affect acceleration and displacement? So how does acceleration and displacement depend on t? So I'll give you the options. It's a good question, good easy question, I'll say. So respectively you have to find acceleration and for displacement. So this first option is for acceleration and this one is for displacement. Okay, or is it? So t to the power minus 1 by 4 and t to the power minus 1 by 4, z t to the power 7 by 4 and t to the power 3 by 4. Okay, you can try that out. It's a easy question. Okay, it's a easy question actually. So let's try it. So from velocity you have to go for acceleration and displacement. So how do you go for acceleration? So you know that acceleration is dv by dt. So you already know that velocity is proportional to t to the power 3 by 4. So how to change the proportionality sign to equality? If you remember my lecture on, I'll say, units and dimensions, right? So I said there, to change a proportionality sign to equality, you have to multiply a constant. K is a constant, any constant. Okay, some specific constant, not any. Okay, so now you have to differentiate this. Now you got this, right? So those who didn't knew, note it down now. To change proportionality to equality, you multiply a constant. Okay, so now differentiate this. Now k is a constant, it comes out safely. T to the power, now use this formula, d by dt of t to the power 3. Now, okay, general I'll write n t raised to n minus 1. So use that formula, you'll get t. This comes from differentiation, right? So t to the power 3 by 4 minus 1. I use that formula. Now I got k. Now this 3k by 4 is again a constant, and this is minus 1 by 4, right? So a, you can see that a depends on t to the power minus 1 by 4. So option B and option D are incorrect. So option A and C are the ones that remain. So in order to go for displacement, from now velocity you want to go to displacement, and if you remember, displacement was integration v dt, right? displacement was integration v dt. Okay, so integration v dt. So you have v, so v dt. You do this and you integrate it. So you multiply dt kt raised to the power 4 dt, and you have to integrate, right? So what did I do? I multiplied dt, the same thing that I did over here. So I took this equation, I multiplied dt on both the side, and I integrated it. So what is this? This is ds, right? This is ds, integration ds, sorry. Okay, so k is constant, it comes out of the integration sign. Now integration formula also you'll know. So again, this will give some constant 7 to the power 4, and you can neglect that. I'll say k dash into t to the powers, because we are looking for proportionality, right? So what is the relation with acceleration and displacement in terms of proportionality? So here you can see 3 to the power 3 by 4 plus 1 is 7 by 4. You can do that through LCM. So A is the correct answer. So again, an easy question. Actually, this was not something to be done by, actually, to be honest, yeah. So this was not something to be done by integration and differentiation. Even if you had the logic of, let's say, like this much amount of logic, if you had like velocity is proportional to t to the power 3 by 4. So how do you get acceleration? Acceleration is change in velocity by time, or basically acceleration is velocity by time. Means dimensionally correct, right? Because you are speaking only of proportionality, right? This is acceleration. So all you had to do is divide t for this. So t to the power 3 by 4 for acceleration I'm speaking, divide by t. Okay, proportional to, you'll get minus 1 by 4, right? And for displacement, you know, speed is equal, if you say distance is equal to velocity into time, displacement is equal to velocity into time. So velocity into time. So velocity is t to the power plus and into t. So here you'll get the same thing. So you get the same thing basically, right? So this was actually not a question from to be done with integration and differentiation. Anyways, right? We got the same answer. So let's go for the third one. So in the previous one, if you can note, we discussed xt relation. So displacement and time, we learned how to differentiate. Even for velocity to time, it was given, but yeah, even for acceleration to time, right? So now we are going to make it complex by discussing what we are going to discuss next, v to x. So we have equations in which v is related to x, and next we will have a related to x, right? So we are going to discuss all of this. We, in the previous one, we almost discussed all three of this, right? So yeah, now the problems will be on v to x relation. So third one, it's an IEEE question. At t equals 0, x equals 0, so displacement initially of the particle is 0, and if v velocity is alpha into root of x, so v and x are related, you can say that the v varies, the velocity varies with time as, so is it v is directly proportional to t, v is directly proportional to t square, c v is directly proportional to t to the power half, means t root, we'll say that, or v is equal to constant. Okay, so v is v, I'll say, is independent of t to the power 0. This means independent, right? So IEEE, this was a question from IEEE 2006. So you can treat it as a main level question and even a medical level question. It's a easy one. Okay, you have to use a simple equation. Okay, so I'm going to do it now. I guess correct answer is A. Okay, let's do it. V is okay, I'll write that first. V is this. Now use V. uh, Now we'll use in place of v dx by dt. Since we have x term over here, we'll use dx by dt and try to simplify it. So dx by root x into alpha dt. Now integrate both sides, right? So I got this x to x, right? This dt and dx terms you have to keep them on into the numerator. Okay, both of them into the numerator and get this like terms together, x dx with x. Okay, now integrate this. Now alpha is a constant, it comes out. Now substituting the limits. Now this is an interesting part. So at x equals 0, when x is 0, so where there is dx, you put the limits. When x is 0, t is 0. Okay, this is the way to put the limits. So what will be x? So we are taking certain general x at time t. At time t, what will be the displacement? If at suppose if at time t t equal to 0, the displacement is 0. What will be the displacement at time t? And we have considered that to be x, and we'll find it. We'll find some relation. Okay, again you can use that formula now. X raised to n integration, right, dx is equal to x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Previously I guess I didn't mention that, anyways you'll know it. So this is basically x raised to minus half, you can say. So if you integrate that, you get minus half plus 1 upon minus half plus 1. That is x to the power plus half, and here also plus half, so divided by plus half, so multiplied by 2, divided by plus half, so multiplied by 2. So 2 x to the power half, or 2 root of x, right, 2 root of x. Okay, you have to substitute the limits here. It won't matter because it's 0 to x, same thing you'll get here also. What is the integration of dt? T, 0 to t. Okay, so 2 root of, what you get finally, even if you substitute the limit, upper limit minus lower limit, you'll get the same thing, alpha into t. Okay, now you can do one thing is to, because you want to find v, right? So you don't want this c, you want v and t relation, you want to relate v and t. So one thing you can think of is eliminate this root x. So from here you get what is the value of root x. Okay, so root x is alpha t by 2. So you can replace that over here. So alpha into, actually you can say it from here, it is proportional to t. Okay, so it's alpha t by 2. So you can simplify it further because this is constant, right? This term is constant and this varies with time t. So this is the correct relation. V is proportional to t. It was an AIEEE 2006 question. Only logic was over here, right? Delta root of x you have to substitute back. Okay, what is the time? We'll do the fourth one now. So we are discussing v to x, right? V to x relation. One more we'll discuss v to x. Okay, the fourth one. What does it has to say? Again, it's an JEE main question. A particle with, so v is equal to b root of x. Same thing. Okay, moves along straight line. So there is a particle with this velocity which moves along straight line, motion in 1D. So calculate speed. So the same thing, speed at time t equals tau. Okay, so A, B, C, D. So it is the same thing. If you see, I just got this question because I wanted to show that things repeat also, right? So just they frame it in a different way, b square tau by 4. So now they want the exact relation. So you have to do the same thing. And if you remember the previous problem, okay, it's a JEE in 2019. So questions do repeat, but they change a bit of things, right? So here the answer, if you know, it's C. Remember alpha square by 2. Here in place of B there was alpha, and we got alpha square by 2 into tau. Can you remember that? I'll do it very quick. B is equal to root of x, so dx dt. I'll do it real quick for you. So dx by root of x is equal to b dt. So you get root of, so you, when you integrate this, I'll do it over here only. So when you integrate this, you'll get, so it was given that x equals 0 implies t equals 0. So at t equals 0, t equals 0, x is 0. Okay, so you can substitute the limits here, you'll get 2 root of x. The same question actually it is, just it is framed in a different way. Now they want you to find the relation, right? So now it's from t to tau, 0 to tau. Here it is 0 to xlc. Okay, so 2 root of x is b tau. So now if you get root of x from here, b tau by 2, and now substitute this over here. So what do you get? V is equal to b root of x is bt by tau, b tau by 2, bt by tau, b tau by 2, so b square tau by 2, right? Alpha square by 2 into t, previous problem. So things do repeat, but yeah, they just change a bit of format. Previously they asked for what they asked, the relation, what is it proportional to, and now they ask the relation. Second time the relation, first time the proportionality. So things do repeat. So again, now let's go to a to x relations. First we discussed all those t relations, a to t, v to t, s to t, and then we discussed v to x. Now let's go for a to x. Okay, and finally we'll go to a to v. I guess it's not there. Fifth one, I'll say v is equal to 2x. Okay, find a at x equals 2 meter. 2 meter, yeah. So you have a b c d. So is it 6 meter second raised to minus 2, 8 meter second raised to, this is very simple question, just for practice I took. So a to x related, so you can quickly try that, you'll get it within a go. It's a easy question. So first v is given to be 2x. Now you can use a is equal to v dv by dx. This is a very good way to think about it, since v is given in terms of x, right? So it is easy to differentiate with respect to x, right? So you can use this and you can easily get the answer. So v is 2x and dv by dx, so d by dx of v is 2x. So this 2 comes out, 2 into 2 is 4, and dx by dx 1. Okay, so differentiation of 2x is 2. Okay, so at what time they said, at what distance x equals 2 meters. So 4x, so 4 into 2 is 8. So those who even did it by a is equal to dv by dt would get it. So v is equal to 2x, so d by dt of 2x. Just here there is, the variable is not t, right? So we have to write dx by dt. Remember that. So dx by dt. Dx by dt is velocity, v. Dx by dt is velocity, right? So what is v? Again substitute that, 2x. So you got the same thing, 4x, right? So and if you substitute 2, you will get the answer 8. So there was advantage in using this because v was given in x format. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Let's go for the sixth one. It is also a to x type. Okay, so sixth one, it is also a JEE question. Okay, so it's an integer type. Displacement is given as a function of time. So displacement of a particle varies as, so displacement is variable and varies as x square is equal to at square plus b 2bt plus c. And now if acceleration is proportional to x to the power minus n is integer, then n equals. So it is an integer type question. It will have values from 0 to 1 or 1 to 9, I guess. So it is also a J question. I forgot to mention the year on my copy. So yeah, you can try that out. It's a good question. Okay, I will do it now. So basically what do you want to do? So from displacement you want to go to velocity, and from there you want to go to acceleration. So differentiate it once, will dx by dt with respect to time, right? This is with respect to time, so that makes it easier. So differentiate it once, you'll reach velocity. Differentiate it once again, you'll get acceleration. So now let's implement that. So at square plus 2bt plus c. Okay, now differentiate it. So 2x, so differentiation of x square t square was 2t. So x square is 2x, but we are differentiating with respect to t. So this term will also come, dx by dt, right? Here it won't come because here it is t. So a into 2t, okay? dt by dt 1. Here it is 2b and t, yeah. Differentiation of kt is k. So 2b into t is 2b. Okay, so now you can cancel this 2 throughout. So you get x, and what is this? Dx by dt. Does it strike you? Velocity, right? So that was the thing why we did this, right? We want velocity. From there we'll go to acceleration. So from here you got velocity x into v, and you have cancelled that 2, so a t plus b. So just for now, note this value, velocity. It will be useful later. At plus b upon x. Okay. Even if you don't note it now, you'll note it later, right? So can I do it somewhere? I'll do it over here. Now differentiate it again, right? So you got velocity, now you want to go to acceleration. So differentiate it again. Now you have to use the UV rule. So no issues. U into differentiation of v, so dv by dt plus v into derivative of u, so u and v, okay. So v is dx by dt, right? So you have to differentiate this side as well. You differentiated this, differentiate this again. So at plus b, what is differentiation of at? A, right? With respect to t, it will be a, and b is constant. Okay, so x, what is dv by dt? Dv by dt, acceleration, a, right? So I'll write ac because here also there is a. Okay, and here you will get what is dx by dt? V into dx by dt. Dx by dt is velocity. So this is also velocity, right? This is also velocity. So velocity into velocity, velocity square. Easy. Now just substitute that. That was the reason I wrote it. So how can you do that? So ac, a minus v square. So v square, so square that, a plus t, at plus b upon x the whole square. So I squared this, and took it to the other side. Okay, now you have to find for AC. AC is how is acceleration proportional to x. So a upon x, so I am dividing each term by x. Okay, so here when I divide x, it cancels. Here it's division by x, at plus b upon x the whole square upon 1 by x. Now you can simply see here that what is the highest power A is related to. AC is proportional to x to the power minus 3. Am I right? X square, right? This is whole square, so x square and into x to the power 3, x to the power 3. And when you take it on top, x to the power minus 3. You have to look out for the highest power. Don't look out for this x. You have to look out for the highest power. It is related to just highest power. Okay. So x into x, so x square into x, x to the power 3, and that you take on top x to the power minus 3. So this acceleration is proportional to x to the power minus n. So you can see that minus n equals minus 3, n equals 3. So 3 was the correct answer. Congratulations if you did that. Okay, you can note that down. That was really a good problem, I'll say. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. If you did, you can hit that like button, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next class. Till then, keep enjoying physics.